Hello everybody, I'm Josh Stephenson and welcome to our new segment, Getting to Know You, interviews with some of the players in our fantasy league. And this week we're doing a conference call to Seattle to interview Jesse Nelson. And Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing great, Josh. How are you guys?
We're good down here. So, Jesse, why don't you tell me about your team name? Where did you come up with it?
Well, I came up with the Cascadian Invasion because being the Northwest representative of an otherwise all-Utah league, I figured you guys needed a little Pacific Northwest invasion to show you guys how it's done down there.
So are the Sounders players and maybe Whitecaps and Timbers players too, are they influential on your team, or is it based otherwise?
Well, I have a tough time picking any of those guys out just because of the rivalry, and also because Portland traditionally has not been a very strong team, although they're kind of proving that wrong this year.
I understand the rivalry, especially since I was so hesitant to pick up Colorado players. So,
it was a real a moment of shame when I finally put Mike McGee on my fantasy team, but it's really proven it's his worth.
So Jesse, us down here, we all bleed red. Tell me what it's like to bleed rave green.
Well, in years past it's been great. This year it's been a little rough being green. It's not been easy being green actually this year. We're off to a little bit of a slow start, but we finally got our first win against the Colorado Rapids, and I'm really excited about it. It feels a lot better to win than it does to lose as a fan.
So what are the fans up there thinking about this slow start? Obviously, you're without Freddie Montero. You've been without Eddie Johnson for a while. You just picked up Obafemi Martins. Obviously, he scored this weekend. And Mauro Rosales is hurt yet again. What are they thinking up there?
Well, we're a little puzzled, to be honest with you. We really, going into preseason, there's a lot of hype, and everyone was really up on the changes that have been made. Even Montero going down to Columbia was just viewed as a really positive thing because it's good for him, and he's actually still a member of the Sounders team, so there's a chance that if he does really well down there,
right,
we see some allocation money if he can get on the national team kind of spotlight and maybe interest by some EPL clubs. We could pick up some cash for some future, other highly talented players. Plus, the guy we replaced him with is not a slouch by any stretch. Obafemi Martins has just been huge in his career. He's got a lot of life left in him, and even though he hasn't played much, I think the people that have seen him play have just seen flashes of what is his potential, even with the limited training time. So there's a lot of hope coming into this year, a lot of confusion right now as to why we're not, even injuries aside, why can't, when we're getting so many good lifts and just dominating the pace of play, why couldn't we buy a win until last Saturday?
So, articles in local newspapers and on MLSsoccer.com say Sounders are finally healthy. Who do you think is going to win the spot? Obviously, you've got Oba Martins now. You've got Eddie Johnson being healthy. You've got Alonso back, but Shalri's been doing well. Mauro Rosales is close to returning, and you still got Lamar Nagel as well. Who do you think is going to be playing for you guys?
I think I think two things. I think Johnson might have to play for a little bit of play time. As good as Johnson is, there's always been seemingly, although not a lot in the press, but there always seems to be a little bit of ego with him, and especially Montero. I think that he and Obi might be a better pairing, but it's tough to, Ziggy's a guy who likes to see effort, and Lamar Nagel definitely putting in the effort, and, in that goal against Colorado was really kind of instrumental in it developing. So I think that he's got a lot of look. And as for Rosales, ever since that CONCACAF game where he got injured, it was like the second game of the season or something like that, he just hasn't really been this, as dynamic of a playmaker as we would hope. And with Zakuani healthy and Martinez healthy, I think he's really going to have to step up his game a little bit. So I think he might be competing, or really need to compete for that first spot. in the club.
Yeah, Seattle's always been famous for their really amazing midfield. Rosales,
Yeah,
Alonso.
I mean, we've been really lucky with Alonso. If we ever lost him, that would be a real blow.
All right, so Jesse, this was fun. Thank you so much for doing this with us. It was glad to see a little rivalry in our videos. So thanks for coming. See you next week.
See you next week. Thank you, guys.